everybody, I'm April Cummings. I'm your host and a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker Cayman Islands Realty. So let's get started with a look at the real estate headlines. There's been a lot going on in the industry lately. For one thing, the listing prices for properties, well, they've been going up, but valuations haven't necessarily been keeping pace. And in some cases, when we see a reasonably priced listing on the market, it gets offers within 24 hours. The only downside with that, when those buyers head to their lending institution and the valuations aren't the same as what they've offered, the amount of cash they need to put up gets higher. So if you really want a property, you have to be prepared to spend more cash and borrow less in some cases. Now to other real estate headlines. The premier of the Cayman Islands at a recent conference started talking about the idea of higher buildings in the Cayman Islands. The Honorable Alden McLaughlin described an iconic tower as a potential part of Dart's Cayman Bay. Now, he made it clear no decision has been made, but he also said that going vertical was something that they should be looking at for the Cayman Islands.
Representatives from Dart Enterprises have recently spoken to government regarding plans for a landmark development within Cayman Bay that includes an iconic tower that would greatly exceed the current development height limits, creating a new skyline that would be recognizable the world over. With this development, they will commit to investing in excess of an additional $1.5 billion into the Cayman Islands economy, not just in the development itself, but in critical infrastructure improvements and supporting workforce development.
Now to the issue of affordable homes. We recently visited the groundbreaking of the National Housing Development Trust in East End, which will be offering 6 homes. Once that project is complete, we're told the next affordable housing community will be in West Bay, offering 8 homes. And then just down the road, Northside and Georgetown.
I feel very happy about it. I'm glad to be part of this today. And I know that the trust is moving forward in its journey to continue to provide these homes to the Cayman Islands, and I'm happy to be part of that.
There's so many situations right now where people are staying in their homes with one room, 3 children, 4 children. It's unacceptable for us to be so blessed as a country and for our citizens not to be able to get an opportunity to live like everyone else.
Also in the real estate headlines, a new 42-room hotel for Cayman on the 7 Mile Beach corridor. It's called Locale, and it's described by the developer-operator as a select service hotel development. The company has been pitching its hangout lobby as a space where both locals and guests can kick back, collaborate, and let their creative juices flow. They're offering communal workspaces with high-speed Wi-Fi for guests and locals and working areas for meetings. Locale says all of its hotel rooms feature HD TV, kitchenettes with mini fridges, microwaves, workstations, and bay window seating. And by the way, an Alexa-powered personal assistant concierge. Our final item might not be real estate news per se, but we can't help but mention the royal visit of Prince Charles and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. Our Cayman Life team had the chance to live stream the arrival and official opening of the renovated Owen Roberts International Airport. The entire visit to the islands was 36 hours, and our royal visitors certainly kept up a relentless pace, accompanied by a crew of international media. The visit got a lot of positive attention for the islands, and in particular, a certain blue iguana at the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park. Our friends from IDG are back with another episode of IDG TV. You can follow them on Instagram or watch their YouTube channel. This particular feature focuses on the aesthetics of getting your home or property ready to sell.
Welcome to another episode of IDG TV. Today we're going to be starting off with top tips to sell your home, and we have Chloe, one of our IDG experts on home staging. So Chloe, it's a hot market in the Cayman Islands right now. What tips can you give a homeowner on preparing their home to get the best return on their investment?
So there's a number of things that I would say are hugely important when you're bringing your property to market. Starting off with your curb appeal at your property. You want people to be welcomed as soon as they see your house. So keeping it well maintained, keeping the lawns cut, having some nice potted plants outside, flowers, You know, the front door needs to look welcoming, like they even want to come into your house in the first place.
So you're really trying to achieve that first impression, that
Yeah.
they pull up and they get the wow immediately.
Exactly, and even things like paint, keeping your house, the outside of your house painted and, you know, maintained each year can help you before you bring it to market so it's ready. And then the second thing, as soon as they walk through that door, it has to feel really clean, sparkle clean, fresh, smell nice. So, you know, invest in things like air fresheners, make sure the units and the cupboards and the surfaces are all sparkling clean. You've got even some fresh flowers. And it feels like then buyers look after the property. If you walk in something that smells musty and there's, you know, animal hair and, you know, it's not maintained, it's not kept well, it's not clean, they're going to put them off.
Okay, so we've come in, it smells beautiful, it's sparkly clean. What else can we do?
So another thing to do is definitely make sure all the repairs are done. So things that you've forgotten about, you know, the lamps haven't got light bulbs in, replace all the light bulbs. Light makes a huge difference when you're showing off your property. Cupboards, squeaky doors, you know, oil the doors, make sure the cupboards are all working, the hinges work. Just a lot of maintenance issues that you may not think are a huge problem actually come across as it's not a very well maintained house.
And that can affect the price that they offer to purchase the homes.
And
It's
a
an added
fresh
win.
coat of paint can go a long way. Believe me, if you paint it, and I'd stick to neutral colours, just because if it's bright colours, it doesn't appeal to a huge market. And furniture goes with, you know, greys, neutral tones, creams, and also, you know, you could do like monthly refreshes with your accessorizing. So once you've got just a plain blank canvas, you can accessorize with different cushions for summer, for winter.
So you're really trying to style your home for sale, not style your home for you.
Exactly.
And that's a big difference for a lot of people.
Huge difference.
So Chloe, last big tip. What's something you could really say that's going to make a difference for a purchaser walking into your home and seeing themselves in their space?
So removing yourself slightly from your property and how you live in it is quite a hard job actually, but removing pictures, you know, family photos or artwork from your children, which is very nice and cute to live in, but as a buyer's perspective, they probably just want to see, you know, a clean, fresh property, and they don't relate to those things as well. So removing yourself from the picture and, you know, removing little bean bags and toys and family portraits and artwork can help the space.
Well, by doing that too, you're not letting the buyers potentially see how you live in it, and they feel like it's your home and they can't picture themselves there. So I think what you're saying, depersonalizing it, is painful because you're still living in it, but at the same time, it allows the buyer to see themselves there instead of see you there.
Exactly, and things like little ornaments and things you've picked up along the way does create clutter. So even putting those things away sometimes does help.
We hope these tips have been helpful for you, but if you still have questions or you want to know more about staging, we have our website, Instagram, all our social media, so you can stay in touch and stay informed.
Thanks, guys, and don't forget to check out their new staging service, which makes any property you're selling look fantastic. Now to our Cayman Places feature, an extraordinary look at a father and son who have been innovative while preserving our history. Cayman is rapidly growing and changing. Construction of new buildings can be seen all across the islands, from hotels to mansions. Cayman looks much different now than it did even just a few years ago. Traditional Cayman homes are becoming much harder to find, and many are disappearing altogether.
We tried to preserve as best we could.
Arch and Godfrey took a different approach.
This particular house was all wood.
Mr. Heber Arch gave us a quick tour of his firm's office building.
This is the new area.
He's been working in it for over 45 years. The original building is more than 120 years old, located on historic Mary Street in Georgetown. A few years back, they knew they needed to expand the business, but they didn't want to move out.
I advocated to just preserve the building.
Garth Arch is Heber's son. He practically grew up in this little building, watching his father work. Now that he works here himself, there was little chance he was going to watch it go away.
When I think back of what the building looked like in the past to what it is now, it is quite amazing.
What they came up with was both innovative and charming. Instead of tearing down the home and starting from scratch, which would have, of course, been the most cost-effective thing to do, they worked to keep as much of the original design as possible, connecting the original cottage to an expanded building, creating a space that's over 4,500 square feet.
I think now we're concentrating so much on sort of super contemporary housing and stuff that we've completely lost all of the details that were very typical to Caymanian buildings in the past, especially in houses.
And there were some creative adaptations, ways to incorporate the modern conveniences of today without sacrificing our architectural history.
An example of what can be achieved to bring the old traditional characteristics with the new.
The project is award-winning, having achieved the Rare LEED Platinum certification and Corporate Conservation Governor's Award, a testament to what can be done to adapt to the future without destroying our past.
What we aim to do is to create a gem in Georgetown. We wanted to preserve the traditional aspects of the old Caymanian home that has been here for over 100 years.
If we go retain our heritage, we have to sort of retain as many things as we can from the past. That's worth saving. Some things are not worth keeping, but I think this house was really worth keeping.
This look at Cayman places where innovation meets preservation was brought to you by Island Heritage Insurance. Hi, I'm April Cummings, a real estate agent with Caldwell Banker, Cayman Islands Realty. There are a couple of questions you need to answer when it comes to buying your first home or property, and the most important, is it the right time? Deciding to successfully take the plunge into home ownership or investing in a property can be a daunting prospect. And nobody wins if you're not truly ready for the commitment and extra expense. Now, don't get me wrong, buying my first home was one of the smartest decisions I ever made. And while it was not an easy journey, it set me on a great path. Did I tell myself at the time I was making a great investment? Of course I did. But in truth, there was no way to know at that time if it was truly realistic thinking. The best reason for you to buy a home is because you want to live there. It's also very important that you're in a financial position to afford that home. Renting does have its merits. Maintenance of a property can be costly, and if you're a renter, it's really the landlord's problem. But when you own the property, the burden falls directly on you. And if you're not ready for the additional costs that home ownership entails, renting really might be a better option for you until the time is right. It is also extremely important that you don't buy more home than you need or can afford. Just ask anyone who got caught in the U.S. housing crash. And while some lenders may be a lot more conservative now about how much money they're lending, they aren't always. So you need to be comfortable that you have a steady income, 6 months of emergency funds, and a stash of down payment cash. I recommend to anyone who's just getting started to read Dave Ramsey's books on financial peace. As a young person, I had no sense of how to manage money, and Dave's work reframed my thinking about money and what's possible. Thanks to following his plan, I got out of debt except for the mortgage in my 30s. So if you're just getting started on your journey, there is no feeling like the peace that comes from knowing your checks won't bounce, that you have enough money to pay next month's bills comfortably, and that you're putting money away for the time you need that down payment to invest in property of your own. That is the Cayman Life Property Minute. I'm April Cummings, and remember, if you know anyone in the market who wants to buy or sell property, send them my way to april@caymanlife.ky. Time for Cayman Real Estate by the Numbers. Let's take a look at the first quarter of 2019. Let's start with sales. We saw 154 million US dollars in property sold, 128 million in the residential market, 1.7 million in multi-unit sales, and 440,000 in commercial properties. Land sales were at $24.3 million. If the numbers are a reflection of what's really going on in the market, condos are still at the top of the list with 69 sales valued at $78.4 million, 42 single-family homes at $43.2 million. And in terms of quantity, land takes the third spot on the list, with 41 low-density properties selling for a total of $16.3 million. The first quarter also saw some new inventory. A few highlights: 301 new listings for single-family homes and 223 condominiums. In Little Cayman and Cayman Brac, 38 new land listings and 77 low-density here on Grand Cayman. And finally, a quick look at current listings as of March 31st, 2019. 873 residential listings, 540 of them are condominiums, and 277 are single-family homes. On the land side, 610 listings, and the majority of those, 357, are low-density residential. By the way, our data only includes listings with Sariba, the Cayman Islands Real Estate Brokers Association, home to the listings of more than 200 agents and over 40 brokerages. If you need any information about these listings or anything else for that matter, email me at april@caymanlife.ky. On our Cayman Faces feature, we wanted to share with you the stories of a unique group of people introduced to us by the Cayman Heart Fund. They are heart heroes, and these are their stories.
Been good. I'm very lucky. I think I'm blessed.
I have truncus arteriosus. It is a heart disease in which I am missing one of my valves.
And then boom, out of the blue, in 2006 I had my first coronary event.
Within the next 12 hours, they had found what the problem was, that I'd had what they thought was 4 blockages.
He said, you had a heart attack. I said, a heart attack? But I'm still here.
I actually have 6 stents in me, and I had bypass surgery in 2016, quadruple.
Then they put in an aortic valve, all metal, both. So the biggest problem I have is airports.
I had open heart surgery 19 years ago. I was told I had a heartworm, and then I had an aortic aneurysm, so I had to get that fixed. And I got a pig gut that was supposed to last 8 to 10 years, and that was 19 years ago. I'm very lucky. I think I'm blessed.
I wish to be a cardiologist and a sous chef when I grow up. My mom and my aunt, they came with me for my first operation. Everything went well, but a little bit after I had a viral infection and I had to go back to the hospital and be readmitted. So for some people in my family, it wasn't so good for them, but we all end up pulling through as a happy family. It was very stressful because we all had to find some way to help each other, so even I could become the man I am today.
Well, I just live a normal life. Yep, I exercise, but mainly walking. But I swing arms and things, but walking is very important.
I think it's very important that people be aware of their bodies.
Yes.
They don't take their bodies for granted. Body's not made like that. They need to get rest, regular exercise, and proper nutrition. So it's very important what we put into our bodies and how we live.
I'm enjoying the new lifestyle, walking 3-4 miles every day, eating properly, something that I've never done before. So I can honestly say that this is the best thing that ever happened to me, because it has put me in a better spot spiritually, mentally, physically, the full work. So I'm saying, thank God it happened. Thank God I found out in time, because with 7 blockages, if I'd had the heart attack, I don't think there was any coming back. There's no doubt that I'm a walking miracle. Praise be to God.
I mean, my fortunate situation was that there wasn't major narrowing of the coronary arteries, but when a cardiologist went in on both occasions and did an angiogram, they said, hey, you're on the table, we might as well put some stents in.
He saw where I had 5 arteries that were 99% blocked, including my 2 major arteries. I think it was mostly a combination of lifestyle and genetics, because my mom, of blessed memory, she passed 18 years ago, and she died of pulmonary. The Bible verse that I really attach to myself now is the one that says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
So it can happen to anybody. You don't have to be overweight. You know, you really have to know your body, and you have to listen. You really have to listen to what your body's telling you.
Turmeric, ginger, magnesium, Himalayan salt, the good oils, the olive oil, the hummus, the oily fish, all of that is really just good cardiac protection.
Get a thorough medical once a year, especially when you pass 40.
Don't have a lot of fear and have hope, because some people think that going into a surgery they should be scared and frightful that something might good not come out. They should be always have hope and think something good might come out.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of the Cayman Life Show. Remember, if you're buying or selling property, give me a shout. I'm at April@caymanlife.ky.